I am sorry, my child, but I have to tell you this. You are one step away from walking into a situation where you will remember the mistakes you have done in the past. Yes, my child, a moment is coming that will remind you of what you have done so far in your life, and it will be a glimpse of all your bad deeds. Child, I have forgiven you, but I am a God of redediousness, and what's coming is my partial and righteous judgment. Child, hear me clearly, for I will tell you everything in detail now. Child, you have walked through fires you did not understand, and though you thought they were sent to destroy you, they were placed before you to purify what had become hidden beneath layers of fear. The world around you moves with a rhythm you have not yet learned to hear, and within that rhythm is a pulse that beats with eternal patience. Every breath you take has been recorded in the fabric of existence, and nothing that you have done, no matter how small or forgotten, has vanished. Every act, every word, every silence is a ripple that travels endlessly outward, touching shores you may never see. Soon those ripples will return to you. This is not to crush you, but to teach you that all things circle back to their source. Do not tremble when the remembrance comes. It will arrive quietly in moments of stillness, or it will come like thunder when the veil between who you were and who you are meant to be grows thin. You will feel the pull of the past pressing upon the present, but it is not there to punish you. It is there to show you that every moment carries a seed of redemption. The echoes of your former self will not accuse you forever. They will invite you to rise higher than you thought you could. You will soon look upon the fragments of your own history. Some will make you smile, some will make you weep, and in that vision you will see not only the harm you caused, but the beauty you neglected to notice. You will see the kindness you forgot, the courage you dismissed, the moments when even in your weakness, love tried to speak through you. Let these memories soften you, not harden you. They will remind you that growth is born from imperfection, that wisdom is the child of humility. Every soul that walks this earth carries both shadow and light. The shadow teaches compassion, the light teaches purpose. When you finally stop running from your shadow, you will find that it has been guiding you toward the light all along. There is no lesson wasted, no mistake without meaning. What matters is not that you fell, but that you learned how to rise with gentleness. There will be days ahead when the weight of your own awareness will feel almost unbearable. You will wonder how you ever thought yourself righteous, how you could have been so blind. Let that realization break your pride, but never your spirit. The breaking is holy. Out of the pieces will emerge a new heart, capable of seeing the world as I have always seen it, not divided into good and evil, but unfolding through choice and consequence, learning and redemption. Do not seek to escape the coming reflection. Meet it with courage. For when you see your life clearly, when every mask falls away, you will understand why mercy is greater than judgment. True justice does not annihilate, it transforms. It turns wounds into wisdom and guilt into grace. What will happen to you is not the end of your story, but its purification. The path ahead will ask for honesty, ruthless, radiant honesty. You will not be able to hide behind excuses, nor bury your conscience beneath distraction. What you avoided will stand before you like a mirror that does not lie. But in that mirror, if you look long enough, you will find not only your failures, but my reflection looking back through them. I have been with you in every misstep, in every silence, in every breath you thought went unnoticed. You are not being forsaken, you are being revealed to yourself. Remember this: the purpose of revelation is restoration. It is not enough to be forgiven, you must also understand. Without understanding, forgiveness cannot root itself in wisdom. What you will soon face is the understanding your spirit has been seeking. You will see why you chose the roads you did, why pain followed certain desires, why loss was necessary to carve out space for compassion. Nothing was meaningless. Even the emptiness had purpose. There will come a light within your darkness. It may not come as you expect. It will not roar with glory, but whisper through the quiet of your heart. When it arrives, it will not remove your struggle, but it will give you sight to walk through it. You will feel a peace that does not erase consequence, but gives you strength to bear it with grace. That peace will be your guide, the sign that you are learning to move with the flow of divine truth rather than against it. Every soul reaches a moment when truth calls louder than comfort. That is the threshold you stand upon. Beyond it lies freedom, not the freedom of avoiding responsibility, but the freedom of no longer fearing it. You will know yourself as whole, even though you have been broken. You will see that holiness is not perfection, but the courage to face imperfection without turning away. Do not despair when others cannot see what you are becoming. Many will misunderstand your transformation. They will call it punishment. They will call it madness. They will call it loss. But in time, they too will feel the stirring of truth in their own hearts. What you are about to live through will ripple outward, awakening others who have forgotten that their lives are sacred. Your honesty will become their permission to heal. You have asked for purpose, and now purpose arrives clothed in challenge. You have asked for truth, and truth arrives carrying both mercy and fire. Fire refines, mercy restores. Between them, the soul learns balance. Soon you will understand that righteousness is not the absence of error, but the ongoing choice to return to love after every fall. There will be moments when you feel the ache of those you have hurt. Let that ache move you, not destroy you. Let it inspire you to mend what can be mended, to speak what must be spoken, to offer your presence where once you withdrew it. The universe listens to every act of contrition, and it records each gesture of kindness as a note in the symphony of restoration. Do not think small deeds go unnoticed. They are the building blocks of eternity. You will learn to walk gently again. You will notice the trembling of leaves, the patience of rivers, the silence of stars. Each of these will remind you of endurance and renewal. When you are tempted to sink into despair, remember that even the night sky is scattered with light born from ancient collapse. So it is with you. Every collapse can birth brilliance if you allow love to enter the ruins. The journey will not be short. Awakening never is. You will be asked to release old identities, old stories that have defined you for too long. You may grieve them, but let them go. You are not who you once were, and that is the grace of it. Life is not static. It is an unfolding revelation of who you are beneath every false layer. You are the one who keeps walking toward truth, even when truth burns. In the silence that follows the storm, you will sense a new language forming within you, a language of compassion. It will teach you to speak to others without judgment, to listen without the need to be right, to forgive without demand. That language will become your light in the world. Others will feel peace in your presence because you will have faced what they fear to face. You will come to see that justice and mercy are not opposites. They are partners in the dance of creation. Justice reveals, mercy heals. One shows the wound, the other binds it. Together they bring balance. You will embody that balance when you no longer separate yourself from others' pain, when you see their errors as mirrors of your own past blindness. That is when humility becomes power, not weakness. Do not cling to guilt as proof of goodness. Guilt that does not lead to growth becomes chains. Let remorse turn to wisdom, and wisdom to action. Make of your life a testimony that change is real. The world needs living examples more than perfect words. Let your transformation speak louder than your apologies. Let your renewed kindness rewrite the story of your past. There will come a day after the cleansing when you will look upon the path you have walked and understand why it had to unfold as it did. You will see that nothing was wasted. Every tear watered the ground from which new life now grows. You will bless even your mistakes, for they brought you here, to a heart that finally listens. And when you look upon others still lost in their storms, you will not judge them. You will recognize the same fire, the same struggle, the same yearning for light. You will reach out your hand, not as one above them, but as one who remembers what it is to be broken and to be made whole again. In that humility, your true strength will blossom. Child, there is nothing that happens to you that has not been lived in the stories of those who came before. The scriptures are not distant tales. They are mirrors held up to every generation, showing the journey of hearts learning what it means to fall, to be forgiven, and to rise again. Every soul that ever sought truth walked through the same fire you now feel flickering at the edge of your life. Remember the garden where it began. The first ones tasted what they were told to leave untouched, and suddenly the world changed color. They saw themselves as they had never seen before, naked, ashamed, aware of their frailty. Yet even there, in the first moment of failure, mercy whispered. They were sent out, yes, but clothed. The one who had every right to abandon them instead gave them coverings for their vulnerability. That first act of tenderness became the pattern of all history. Consequence, yes, but also care. Exile, yet accompanied. You live that same pattern now. When you look back upon your mistakes, think of Cain, who carried the mark of his deed. He was not erased from the world. He was marked to be protected, that vengeance might not multiply through endless cycles of pain. His life became a lesson that even justice must be tempered by restraint. The mark was not only punishment, it was mercy wrapped in warning. So too, when life reminds you of what you have done, it is to stop the spiral of harm, not to destroy you. Consider Noah, who built what no one believed in while the skies still seemed harmless. Judgment was coming, but so was preservation. Every plank of that ark was a sign that righteousness prepares while others mock. There will be times when you feel like Noah, building something that makes no sense to those around you. Continue anyway. The flood of realization that comes to cleanse the world will not drown you if you have already begun constructing your refuge of faith. And think of Abraham, who was called to leave everything he knew for a promise he could barely imagine. His journey was not perfect. He lied, he feared, he doubted. Yet his willingness to keep moving became his righteousness. When you remember your failures, remember also his courage to start again after each one. Faith is not about never stumbling. It is about continuing the walk even after the stumble. Lot's wife turned to look back, longing for what was being destroyed. The salt of her remembrance stands forever as a warning. Do not dwell in the past so deeply that you cannot move toward the future. The look backward can paralyze, but the step forward brings salvation. You must learn when remembrance is healing and when it is hindrance. The same light that reveals can also blind if you stare too long. Jacob wrestled through the night with something he could not name. At dawn he was wounded, but also renamed. His limp became the sign that he had met truth and survived. So it is with you. The encounter with your own soul will leave its mark, but that mark will be your crown. The limp of Jacob was not shame. It was proof that he had touched the eternal and lived. Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold and imprisoned, could have turned bitter. Yet when the famine came, he stood as the savior of those who had wronged him. What others meant for evil, the divine turned into good. This is the pattern of redemption, that suffering refines the spirit until it becomes capable of saving what once wounded it. Your pain too will one day serve others. Moses stood before a bush that burned without being consumed. He was a fugitive, burdened by guilt for the life he had taken, yet chosen to lead a nation to freedom. His story is the proof that purpose can grow out of remorse. Every excuse he gave, his stammering, his fear, was answered not by condemnation but by companionship. I will be with you. Remember this when you feel unworthy. The flame that burns near you now is not sent to destroy. It is there to reveal that you too can shine without being consumed. When the people wandered the wilderness, they saw their failures reflected in the desert's barrenness. Yet even there manna fell. The lesson has never changed. Discipline comes hand in hand with provision. The wilderness you fear is the classroom of dependence, where pride dies and trust is born. When you find yourself stripped of comfort, listen. Heaven is teaching you to receive what you cannot earn. David, the shepherd who became king, knew both triumph and collapse. His song of repentance after his sin with Bathsheba has never ceased to echo through time. Create in me a clean heart. He was judged, but not abandoned. From his line came redemption itself. His story reminds you that even the gravest failure can become the soil of grace if the heart truly turns back. You too may find that what you most regret becomes the very place from which compassion flows. Elijah fled into the wilderness, convinced that his mission had failed. He longed for death, yet the gentle whisper found him in his cave, calling him back to life. That whisper still moves through every weary soul. You may expect thunder or earthquake, but truth often speaks softly. Do not miss it by expecting grandeur. Listen in the silence, for that is where healing hides. Jonah ran from his calling and found himself swallowed by the deep. 3 days in the darkness of a fish's belly taught him that one cannot flee from truth. When he was spat out onto the shore, he carried the scent of the sea as a reminder that disobedience does not end the story, it begins the lesson. When life confines you, when you feel trapped within the consequences of your own choices, know that even there, the ocean carries you toward another chance. Job, who lost everything, sat in ashes questioning the reason for his suffering. When the whirlwind finally spoke, it did not answer his questions but expanded his sight. He saw that existence is vast, that understanding lies beyond possession. In his surrender, he found restoration. Learn from him that not all pain is punishment. Some is invitation to perceive the infinite. And then, my child, consider the prophets, those who cried out against injustice, who bore the burden of seeing what others refused to see. They were mocked, imprisoned, exiled. Yet their tears watered the roots of hope that still grow today. Their courage came from knowing that truth, once spoken, cannot be silenced. When you face misunderstanding for standing with integrity, you join their lineage. But the greatest mirror of all is the one who walked among you as mercy made flesh. His life was the culmination of every story that came before. When he knelt beside the sinner and wrote in the dust, he was reminding the world that none stand without flaw. Let the one without sin cast the first stone. In that moment, judgment and mercy kissed. He did not deny wrongdoing, but he refused to let condemnation have the final word. That is the heart of the divine pattern: truth without cruelty, justice that heals rather than shames. When he hung upon the cross, the crowd saw defeat. Yet within that suffering was the ultimate revelation, that love absorbs the violence of the world and transforms it. The cross is not only his story, it is the story of every soul that endures consequence yet chooses forgiveness. You too will face crosses of your own, moments when others misunderstand, when pain feels endless. But beyond every crucifixion lies resurrection. The stone rolls away not by might, but by the quiet insistence of grace. Peter denied the one he loved most. His shame was unbearable, and yet after the morning by the sea, he was restored with 3 words of love: "Feed my sheep." The failure became his qualification. Do you see, child? Redemption does not erase the past. It transforms it into purpose. The wounds you hide will become the hands that lift others. Paul, once a persecutor, was struck by light so fierce it blinded him. That blindness was not punishment but preparation. Only when his outer sight failed could his inner sight awaken. So it will be with you. The moments when life blinds you are often the very moments when your true vision is being born. Mary Magdalene stood weeping at the tomb, believing all hope was gone. When she heard her name spoken, the whole world changed. That is the power of personal revelation, to hear your name called in the midst of despair and know you are still known, still loved. You will hear it too, perhaps not with your ears, but in your spirit. It will call you by name and remind you that you are not lost. When the moment of remembrance comes, when your past stands before you like a scroll unrolled, see it through the lens of these stories. Know that every divine encounter recorded in the sacred text was born from the meeting of imperfection and mercy. You will be standing in that same holy ground, and when others see your transformation, they too will remember these stories and understand them not as distant myths but as living truth. The exodus from bondage, the return from exile, the resurrection from despair, they are all one pattern repeated through time, through you. Walk then with reverence. Let the ancient words become your companions. In their company you will find strength to endure, courage to change, and wisdom to love. You are not the first to stand where you stand, and you will not be the last. The story continues, as it always has, moving from creation to redemption, from sorrow to joy, from death to life. And when you finally look back and see how every trial was foretold, you will bow not in fear but in wonder. You will see that the divine has never ceased to write through human lives. The ink is mercy, the parchment is time. And every soul willing to learn becomes a new testament to the power of transformation. So, child, remember the stories, not as tales of the past, but as the heartbeat of eternity pulsing within you. The garden still blooms, the ark still floats, the cross still redeems, and the tomb still opens. Live in that awareness, and you will understand that the judgment you feared was never about destruction, but about awakening to love's enduring story.